let's talk about something fun for once. Batman the Caped Crusader is coming out this August of this year, and it's pretty interesting. Rather than go and do what they've already done with Batman the Animated Series, Bruce Timm and his team are working on a 1940s period piece, and I actually hope they are doing that. Now, unfortunately, with Hollywood these days, when you go and say you're doing something in a set period, that means they bring all the baggage and the weirdness of the 2020s set into the 1940s. And let me just tell you, before we talk about Batman, the 1940s, America and Americans after World War II had it a lot worse than we did. So just picture in your mind, if you will, World War II is over, the Holocaust is over, and the first atomic bombs dropped in the world, wiping out parts of Japan, and it's just mass hysteria everywhere. What do you think was happening in America right when people came back? What were people experiencing? Now, say this show takes place prior to World War II or after. There's a lot of things that they could actually deal with that was happening for, people around them, rather than use all the garbage of the 2020s, which you see constantly on social media, which would have no bearing in the 1940s. Did you know that nearly a third of Americans lived in poverty in the 1940s? There was a lack of resources. Many homes didn't have running water. You couldn't flush toilets. Central heating was all messed up. More than half of the farm dwellings had no electricity either. That's insane. Food was rationed even after World War II, leading into the Cold War. America also faced shortages on every household item, including nylons. You had deodorant, soap problems, all kinds of things. So for them to deal with the nonsense of today and incorporate that into the 1940s, I hope they don't. Now, Bruce Timm is smart. I really give him credit for that. And Matt Reeves. They like 1940s-esque noir stuff. I just hope that we actually see, if this is a 1940s film, that it is based on 1940s things. That being said, I'm very excited about the prospect of the show, and I think it's very interesting. So one of the things that they're doing different with this version of Batman is Harley Quinn is not going to be associated with the Joker. Now, Harley Quinn was co-created by Bruce Timm, along with Paul Dini, who was the main inspiration for the character, and she was just seen as a one-off character. She was the Joker's henchwoman. It was supposed to be a throwback to the 1960s Adam West show, basically where girls were like, I was led astray by bad companionship. They were doing a joke with Harley Quinn's first appearance. They got Arlene Sorkin involved, who played kind of a Harley Quinn-esque character in the 80s in a soap opera as kind of a joke. And they wanted her very high nasally Jersey accent, and they brought that into the picture. But Harley became so popular, this character, that she kept showing up as Joker's girlfriend until eventually she kind of hit it out on her own, doing her, Harley's Holiday episode, and then Harley and Ivy and stuff like that, and it just kind of kept going from there. Eventually she landed into DC Comics as not just the Joker's girlfriend, but her own character. So what they're doing in this version is Harley Quinn in the animated series was a very kind of serious character when she was a psychiatrist, and then she was all nutsoid when she was in her costume because she had a dual personality problem. Or maybe she was schizophrenic. We don't really know. You'd have to ask Dini. In the 1940s-esque, the Batman the Caped Crusader show is going to be a very plucky, kind of crazy psychiatrist. Not an Arkham psychiatrist, just a regular psychiatrist who, believe me, they had a lot to deal with in the 40s. Plus, she's going to be insane, killer clown-like, when she is Harley Quinn. So some people have been saying it's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. This is going to be a scary version of Harley Quinn. We don't know if Joker is going to show up, but a lot of your classic villains are going to have very golden age appearances. Case in point, Clayface is not going to be a mud monster. He kind of looks like a dude who has a disfigured face, and he's a serial killer. This is going to be a very dramatic and dangerous world. So expect to see a lot of changes to some of your beloved characters. You're not going to really see character designs from Batman the Animated Series. They're going to be incorporating their own unique spin to that 1940s kind of Superman mini shorts that were very popular. The Fisher Superman, I believe. But they're going with that same like kind of like character appearance, and they're going to be really, using that. I've seen the costumes for Commissioner Gordon. I've seen the way that Bruce Wayne dresses, and Selina Kyle and Harley Quinn and stuff like that. And it has a very, like, we'll say late 30s, early 40s vibe to it. Bruce is wearing like a very like well-to-do suit, but it's not, very detailed because 1940s, World War II, all that other stuff. Again, they had limited things. Even millionaires wouldn't have that much money. One of the very key things that caught my eye with this new show is the fact that technology is going to be very limited to what they had in the 40s. So don't expect any computers, don't expect any like corded telephones, anything like that. If they have anything, they'll be like pay phones. They might even do like the whole operator thing that my grandma did in the 40s, where you would call an operator and then they would connect you to someone. That's what her job was in the 40s and 50s. So, seeing that kind of stuff would be really cool, because if you've seen the Dick Tracy movies, then you would know kind of like where they were going with that kind of setting. But of course, Dick Tracy had like his own type of technology. So if you've read any of the Batman Golden Age books by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, you'll know that Batman incorporated gadgetry and things that were available in real world 1940s, rather than these crazy gadgetry that you would see in the Silver Age and the 1960s and the Bronze Age, and of course, to where we get with grapple guns and all this other stuff. So Batman's, we'll say, weapons and arsenal is going to be very limited to the time that he's set in. That also means that you won't see any fancy crime labs. The Batcave is probably going to be very minimal. We probably won't even get a fancy Batmobile. I don't think so. Because again, everybody's money is very limited. And what I would like to see happen is, if this takes place after World War II, what are the type of repercussions for Bruce Wayne not fighting in the war? Or where was he? Was he like a secret agent during the war? Was he off training during World War II? Like, how did Bruce Wayne avoid going to war? Or maybe this takes place in the early 40s. We don't really know. All we know is it's set in the 1940s, and it fills my mind with a lot of possibilities where they could go with that, and it's actually kind of exciting. Bruce Wayne is also, once again, like the mask or the persona that Batman wears. He's not really hurt as much as what happened to his family in Kevin Conroy's The Animated Series, where, it's the mission that drives him and all this other stuff. His family's death was a pivotal moment in his life, but it doesn't drive him to do what he does. Batman is a core aspect of who he is and stuff, but it's not like driven him to the point of insanity. But at the same time, he doesn't really do well in his own skin. Like, people look at him and they kind of see Bruce as this character that, is definitely putting on a facade. Like, this is not the real Bruce Wayne. There's something beneath the surface that's darker about this character. And actually, in the show, you're going to see him in therapy with Harley Quinn, even though Harley Quinn has this completely separate personality as well. So you're going to see kind of a similarity between those characters. Of course, Harley is going to be the much more darker serial killer version than the Batman. Another super villain that we're going to see in the first season is going to be Selina Kyle. I've heard different things about her character. She's once again a philanthropist, like an animal person. She's a thief. Her costume goes back to the Golden Age, so she wears the purple dress again, the cape, but she is also a very deadly character. But once again, with Batman and Catwoman, we're going to have that, kind of like flirtation dynamic that we had back in the 90s with the animated series and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Bruce and Selina are going to bump into each other at, like, special rich people events, and we'll see how their characters go from there. Batman's costume is going to be very toned down compared to what you see in it. It's basically like what we had in the animated series, where there's no bulletproof vest, there's no special, type of material to keep him protected. It's just basically spandex, and you're going to see wear and tear. You're going to see Batman get hurt. He's kind of got a look that harkens back to his Golden Age appearance, but not really purple gloves, but he has the ears that shoot out to the side and stuff like that. He has much higher boot that they would have in the 40s and the custom-made stuff. We don't know if he's going to be like a major martial artist. I'm sure he's going to fight, but I'm guessing if they're going with the 1940s, you know, karate and all that other stuff wasn't really known outside of Japan and other, like, Asian countries. So I'm expecting him to do a lot of boxing and things like that, maybe some grappling, but not so much, you know, like a lot of kicks and things like that, because that type of knowledge would be very, very limited to outsiders of, like, Asian culture. So, but I don't know if the show is going to be R-rated. I'm very interested in it. I'm trying to get more information, like what villains we're going to see. But all in all, you know, it sounds pretty good. We've been doing really well with X-Men 97. They've been sticking to the formula for the most part from the 90s. They haven't deviated into the insanity of the 2020s and 2020s thinking, which is fantastic. So I'm really, really hoping that the Batman Caped Crusader show is going to hit it out of the park, and it's going to be a grand slam. It's going to be what they said it is, which is a 1940s, you know, period piece, and it's really hope it's not made for modern audiences, because that would suck, and it would completely derail the whole, like, you know, world that they're trying to build that takes place in the 1940s. But anyway, now I want to hear from you guys and gals. How do you feel about the Caped Crusader? Are you excited about it? Are you going to watch it? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to do some more digging to find out about the show, and I'm definitely going to watch it when the first episode comes out this August. But anyway, keep it locked here for more news on anything Batman in movie, TV, video games, and occasionally comics when they don't suck. Later, Gothamites.